Welcome to Gracefully Imperfect, a podcast for the all-encompassing Black man, the professional, the entrepreneur, the student, the family man, the father, and the everyday survivor. I am your host, Semantic 7. And on this journey together, we will discuss all things related to fatherhood and parenting, morality and ethics, striving to become mentally healthy, our role within our households and our family, health and fitness, and I dare not to forget, there will be a lot of sharing of our personal developmental stories that have shaped us to who we are today. So let's go on this journey together and center our consciousness, relax our mind, off we go to the depths below. Love, peace, and blessings in abundance. I'm so happy to be back. It's been so long since the last episode. Specifically, the last episode was back in March 31st to be exact. It's been a while. Spring then went by. Summer then went by. Here we are in fall. Soon to be winter for some of us in colder climates. But anyway, I am ultra grateful that even during that time, I saw so much activity on the podcast. I saw views. I saw people tuning in, and really showing the podcast love even during my absence, my hiatus, I shall say. And so for those that wanted to know what the podcast was all about, those who went through the library and found an episode that was meaningful to them or tried it out and didn't find it resonating with their person, their attitudes, their beliefs, their personhood, I say thank you. I really do appreciate all the activity and the individuals who accessed the podcast during my absence. But anyway and anyhow, I hope all is well. I hope you are in good health. I hope you are spending quality time with your families, your loved ones, your significant others, your people that you're experimenting with and trying to find if that's something that's worth exploring. And I also really hope that you are spending time with yourself, being introspective, listening to your body, fueling and nourishing your body with pleasant nutrients, that you are grounding yourself, that you are finding stillness and quietness while the world is chaotic, where there's calamity, where there's war, where there's discrimination, where there's disgust, where there is hatefulness, where there's hatred. So please find time for yourself. Find time with those that you trust and feel safe with. And really, 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 I encourage you to embrace those imperfect sides of you, those imperfect aspects of you that you may look at and feel ashamed or may not want to look at or even confront. Those are the things that make you beautiful and unique. So just about a day or go, 2 days ago, um, you know, uh, we posted on the Instagram a few questions regarding uh, of regarding conscious objection, or being a conscious objector, or just being in opposition with the status quo. Let's just say it like that. And so those questions stemmed from something. Those questions stem from countless conversations that I have had with people, and whether in the military, whether out of the military, but still associated with the military some kind of way, those who consider themselves patriots, who have fought and served, those who have fought and served in alternative ways. I've had countless conversations with people from different walks, and what I've noticed, especially for those that are more, or for those who are intolerable to any type of perspective, ideas, or opinions that may go against, fighting and serving wholeheartedly and unconditionally for the United States and for democracy. And so in those conversations, I didn't notice in the beginning, but I started noticing as I would leave those conversations, and I would feel unheard, and I would feel small and unnoticed. And from those interactions, I glean that when I tell people that I'm getting out, or that I got out, the immediate question is never the compassion oriented, the perspective seeking type question. It's always the, well, how long were you in? And you may think that that question is non-threatening, that nothing's wrong with it. But then the follow-up to that is, once I tell them how long I was in, 13 years, I get this look of disappointment. The volume and the tonality of their voices change once I tell them that. It feels like judgment. And immediately I recognize that their opinion, their perspective, their idea is imposing on the conversation. And that imposition for me is very off-putting. It's unnerving. It makes me want to retreat and withdraw, and it makes me want to disconnect. So after I tell them 13 years, they respond typically with, "You were almost there." And for those that don't understand what that means, "you were almost there," it implies that I was right around the corner from retiring from the military. And for those who don't know, because I understand that not all of us are connected or affiliated to the military in any kind of way, 20 years is retirement. Once I say that, the conversation usually dies, or there is some type of vague, generic, bleak statement that's made afterwards. Oh, that sucks. Oh, how bad. Some remain quiet. I've even had it to where I've even endured where someone tried to convince me. And I'm not going to, like I said, this is not about ridiculing. This is not about shaming anyone. This is about speaking truth to power. And you got to own your story. You got to own your narrative. You got to own your experience. And that's what I'm doing. And so this person tried to convince me that staying in for another 7 years without understanding the context, the rationale, the reason that fueled this decision, without knowing any of that, but imposing that if I would have stayed for 7 years, I would be a young retiree. Crazy. Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal? And it's not about really what they're saying. For me, it's how they're saying, and also where I am within the context of my spiritual development. I did not get out because I just felt like getting out. I did not get out because I got bored. I did not get out because my contract ended. I did not get out because it became too hard to manage, to deal with, to handle. I did not get out because I was scared. I did not get out because the fear of being away and deploying and risking my life and risking my body remained in jeopardy. I did not get out because I'm a quitter. And when things become too difficult or too challenging, I retreat. I got out because I was facing and confronting a spiritual awakening. And because the context of me getting out is spiritually driven and spiritually oriented, I take it kind of personal when the assumption is faulty and the assumption clouds judgment, clouds proper questioning, sensitivity, attunement, and the attempts to understand. And so these countless conversations that I had while I was in and even while I was out with close people, with associates, with people in passing, it all happened and they were all packaged differently, but the outcome and the rhetoric and the discourse was the same. And so now I ask the question, is it me that you truly care about? Is it me as the person, me as the father, me as the husband, me as as the student, the spiritual devotee, does my thought process, does my experience matter? Because it seems in those interactions, it really seemed like it didn't. I was going against the very fabric that built American society to what it is today. Me saying I no longer believe in war and armed conflict is going against what motivated and energized the forefathers to put pen to paper. And so I don't mind standing away from those that, follow that line of belief and have the attitude that we must conquer and dominate in order to show our superiority under the guise of protecting the people of the United States and upholding the democracy. So I don't mind standing away from that and being part of the collective who promotes peace and harmony and reconciliation and mutual grace and collectivity and community and social justice and social action, etc. I don't mind. So just recently, 2 days ago, I had another conversation with someone that was helping me with our relocation. And the thing about coming off insensitive and lacking attunement is that I recognize and I do understand that it can be unconscious. And I'm willing to presume that a lot of those conversations that I was having, that the person who lacked the compassion, lacked the perspective seeking, the narrative seeking, were unconscious on how and how they conveyed their message and how they interacted within that moment and how it came off. So, same for this individual. And I got the same thing. You were almost there. I'm sorry you didn't make it. Not one time in that conversation did the individual ask me, can you tell me what happened? What was your experience like? What led you to make this tough decision? How do you feel about that decision that you made? See, these are compassion-oriented questions that seek to bridge the gap between one human experience and to the other human experience. And in that moment, I felt compelled to just flow with the conversation. And I did not address it. I did not I did not calmly and, you know, speak about my emotional reactions. But afterwards, when I explained what happened, well, my wife heard the conversation. It was over speakerphone, and she was very helpful in helping me process what happened. And I ended up revealing to her that, wow, I did this every single time I've had these conversations. I literally flowed with it. I did not speak my truth. I did not confront and challenge the imposition of opinion or ideals. And so I left that conversation with my wife feeling empowered, feeling a bit more ready and willing that when someone um, seeks to enter my space with their presuppositions, their miscalculated judgments, I can graciously and calmly and respectfully get them to think deeper about what they are saying. And walking away from that with that nugget, that it's not about getting in an argument or getting in a confrontation. It is about making people who are walking into relational type environments with their impositions of beliefs, attitudes, ideas, opinions without seeking or grasping the context of the person who they're speaking with and the perspective of the person. All it takes a little bit of redirection and reorientation. And so from that, I decided that this is what I needed to get back into the swing of things with the podcast, being here, speaking loudly and proudly, writing courageously, thinking with compassion, and really trying to hone in on stepping into this attitude of liberation and this attitude and this mentality of continuously uh, taking up the space that I believe that the ancestors and the creator have provided for me. And so, in conclusion, with all of this, if you're ever talking with someone and they are telling you about something that is in opposition with how you think, how you feel, what you believe, if it disturbs your being, shakes your foundation, seek to understand. Seek to know more. Leave the judgments behind the door. Leave your assumptions, the miscalculations, the need to analyze and criticize, and really try to get a grasp. It's been a pleasure to come back on here, and it's been really, really empowering, and I feel really good to come back into this space, stepping into this space, speaking truth to power, and embracing all dimensions and aspects of my imperfect self. I encourage you to go out there and embrace being gracefully imperfect. The podcast is back up and running. Tune in every Friday. We will be here. It will be posted every Friday. We will also bring the poetry back, so please stay tuned for that. Newsletter is coming soon as well. And I got some more news that I will share with all of you regarding my last book, The Depths Below, and the second book that I'm working on. But until then, peace, love, blessings, and abundance. And I wish you all nothing but prosperity, good health, happiness, and resilience. Peace.